perhaps I can start with a few of the positive things we can agree with. The statement on repossessions, the action on small business lending, the programme on home improvement, and the postponement of the decision on retrospective vehicle excise duty. But this is not a normal pre-budget statement. This is a national economic emergency. And what is required alongside radical cuts in interest rates, radical action on bank lending, is a serious tax cut concentrating on the low paid. Now, the Chancellor's come forward basing his plans essentially on a temporary small cut in value-added tax. I see he's relying on the advice of the former Conservative Chancellor, the member for Rushcliffe, on this matter. What I fail to see is how the economy gets a major stimulus for example, a £5 cut in a £220 imported flat-screen television, or a 50p cut in a £25 restaurant bill. Surely it would be much more sensible to put money directly in the pockets of low people by cutting their income tax, not the pathetic £25 that they're being offered, and if they earn over £20,000 a year, the prospect of tax increases. Now, the government has at last, after 11 years, acknowledged that there is a problem of inequality related to the tax system. And what they're proposing is a higher rate of tax on the very high earners after 2 years, possibly. What surely is needed is a comprehensive approach which cuts income tax on low-paid, middle-income families, removing the vast plethora of tax reliefs and allowances which the wealthy benefit from. Not this very limited fig leaf for redistributive policy. What I find wholly incredible about the statement is the assumptions that the government makes about the future trajectory of the economy. It just assumes that after one bad recession year, there is an economic recovery. Buried in the Red Book is the assumption that after next year, the public sector needs to make no contribution whatever towards economic growth. But the problem is a very deep one. This is not just a conventional recession. We don't just have the homegrown problem of the bursting housing bubble and personal debt, we have the imported credit crunch. Now, as far as the banks are concerned, the problem here is very deep. Now, the Prime Minister tells the world, a little bit like a celebrity heart surgeon, lecturing the uninitiated on how to carry out financial heart transplants. But meanwhile, the patient back here is suffering very badly because the banks are cutting credit and greatly increasing their margins.
Vince Cable for the Liberal Democrats. Now, this isn't just a budget for consumers to get us to spend, spend, spend. It's also a budget for small businesses because so many jobs depend on them and they've been particularly hit by the credit crunch. So has the Chancellor done anything for them? Let's go back to Sangeeta in Leeds. Sangeeta.
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. We're here testing the Chancellor's announcements with people in the real economy. Let me just introduce you again to Gary Cooper, a small businessman, Diane Lyons from the Citizens Advice Bureau, and Russell Manning, who's been a estate agent here in the city for quite some time. Russell, what did you pick out of the Chancellor's announcements that gave you hope?
I think for